My mom has stage 4 cancer in her bones and in her breast. My dad's disease was 15 years, he died of ALS. I made a podcast about death, seemed like the thing to do. And if you're sad by all of this, well, you're gonna die too. Babesicles McGee, it is Chelsea Who Else. Happy week to you all, or sad week to y'all, depending on how you are feeling. I'm Chelsea Lloyd. Some call me Chelsea Who Else. Some would rather not. This is just a quick burst of inspiration for you because it is a busy time. My mind is feeling busy and a bit cluttered because I am in 2 productions right now, 2 plays specifically, both pertaining to grief. So I have been reading the book Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, to make me feel a little more chill. This is one of my favorite books by McKeown. I first read it in 2017. I read it again during the pandemic, and I'm reading it again now. Have you ever read a book 3 times? I don't think that I have, with the exception of The Power of Now, another wonderful book that I will plug shortly. But before I get into the oohs and the ahs and the stresses and the straws, whatever that means, I just wanted to share this resource with you because I think it is a really important way to check back in with ourselves, to take a deep breath, and to reevaluate our values and figure out what matters most to us within our personal and professional lives. So Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, is about getting more done in less time. It's about getting only the right things done, and more than 1 million copies have been sold. Holla! It is a timely, essential read for anyone who feels overcommitted, overloaded, or overworked. So for anyone listening, have you ever found yourself stretched too thin? Have you simultaneously felt overworked and underutilized? Have you ever felt busy but not productive? Or felt like your time is constantly being hijacked by other people's agendas? If you answered yes to any of these, the way out is the way of the Essentialist. So this book talks about how essentialism is more than a time management strategy. It's not necessarily a productivity technique. It is a systemic discipline for discerning what is absolutely essential and then eliminating everything that is not so that we can make the highest possible contribution towards the things that really matter. I feel that we all have so much going on, right? Whether you're listening and you have a business and a side business, whether you have a child and a hobby, whether you have something you're doing for fun and a sick parent, someone just died in your life, you're expressing grief, you're experiencing grief, you're also working, you also have a side hustle. All of these things cloud our mind. It's important to take a step back and realize which of these things are essential to our day-to-day and which of these things we can let go. It's just incredible. I don't know if I've sold it to you yet. I get nothing from these purchases. I just want you guys to feel good about your lives. Lastly, it says, by forcing us to apply more selective criteria for what is essential, the disciplined pursuit of less empowers us to reclaim control of our own choices about where to spend our precious time and energy instead of giving others the implicit permission to choose for us. Essentialism is not one more thing. It's a whole new way of doing everything. It's about doing less but better in every area of our lives. Essentialism is a movement whose time has come. That's right, McKeown. It has 10,000 reviews. It's been sold over 1 million times. I mean, do we love it? Or do we love it? At this time, I would also like to plug Libby. Libby is the public library's free app where you can rent books for free. Rent? Is that what it's called? That reminds me of renting a DVD in Blockbuster days. You can rent or borrow or have a book for free. It is sent to either your phone, laptop, or Kindle. Maybe this is a good way to see if you like it, read the first few pages, and then you can always make the purchase later. What I'm getting at, really, like I said at the beginning of this short episode, I made that up, is I've been feeling busy, I've been feeling overwhelmed, and I've been feeling guilty about those feelings. So I turned back to essentialism, and that's truly the little nugget of wisdom I have for you today. Does it relate to grief per se? Technically, no, it is not about your grief story, but it can help declutter your mind and help you get clear and focused about your business tasks and your personal tasks, which may provide a little bit of solace in the dark nights of the soul that come. It might provide a little bit of solace, a little bit of relief for those who are experiencing grief, trauma, or difficult times. About the 2 plays I mentioned, you might have heard me share a little bit last week, but the 2 plays I'm in are as follows. I'm in the play called Blaze, where I'm playing an alcoholic comedian who died by suicide in 2018. Her name is Anna Land. She's the sister of the playwright, and her family flew in from around the country to see this play, and getting to speak with them about what she was like and how they're feeling in relationship to her suicide and her death was very, very powerful. And we have 3 more shows this weekend in Los Angeles, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at the Hudson Theater in Hollywood at 8 p.m. I do have comps available to those impacted by loss who find themselves in Los Angeles. So please DM me at Dying of Laughter Podcast or email me at dyingoflaughterpodcast@gmail.com if you've been impacted by loss and you're in LA and would like to come. The next production I'm in is called Wide Open with the Braid Theater, formerly referred to as the Jewish Women's Theater. There are people in it who are not women and who are not Jewish, although predominantly the stories come through a Jewish lens. Sometimes Jewish, always inspiring is one of their mottos. And my original piece that I wrote was selected to be performed. So then they asked if I would also like to be in the show. So this is a series of monologues and scenes. They are original stories. There are things that happen to people in real life throughout the pandemic specifically, and I wrote about my experience mentoring my, at the time, 9-year-old mentee through Walk with Sally, a nonprofit mentoring program for those impacted by cancer. You may have heard me share a little bit about that on the pod. So it's one of those weeks because I had Blaze rehearsal last night. I have Wide Open rehearsal tonight. I have Blaze performances Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I have Wide Open performances Sunday, Monday, and beyond. So every single night has been those 2 shows, and they're both about grief. And I love that. And I'm like, yes, but I'm also overwhelmed. Wide Open, I will share more about that later, but there are dates within Los Angeles, the Bay Area, and there is even a Zoom show. So you can be anywhere in the world for that one. The Zoom show is May 15th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I do have a few comps available for the Zoom show. So if you are interested in seeing these monologues and scenes being performed on Zoom, they tailored the show specifically to a virtual performance so that people are looking directly into the camera. You won't be just this little camera fly on the wall in the back. People will be talking to you directly. And I would love to offer 3 comps to Dying of Laughter listeners. So message me if you would like a comp for that as well at Dying of Laughter Podcast. Okay, that's a lot of info. I want to keep this episode to 10 minutes. If you check out Essentialism, do let me know. If you get the Libby app and it brings you joy, do let me know. If you would like to come to a show in person or on Zoom, do let me know. I'm sending love. I'm feeling busy. I'm going to just say if you're feeling busy or stressed, this is your sign to just take a deep breath and know you are not alone. I've been voice memoing with you guys in the DMs this week about your parents' diagnoses. Many of us are having moms with breast cancer these days. Extra hearts and unicorns and stars and sad face emojis to all of you because we are in the squad of sad, but I got you. I'm here for you. Always want to hear your story. So let's continue those conversations in the DMs. I'm totally rambling. We'll be back next week with an interview. Sneak peek. Next week is Dara Kurtz. Her episode is on surviving breast cancer and losing her mom. She's a writer and a speaker, and after being diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 42, she left her 20-year career as a financial advisor to focus on writing and speaking. And today she's the author of many books, and she also lost her mom to cancer, and she's just very inspiring. I think it's a good week for an inspiring writer speaker episode, so that will be next week. Thank you, Dara. Remember, everyone, YOLO, you only die once.